Perfect. Hi, I'm Joe White from Ashland Community Theater.
And I'm Jodi Martin from the Ashland Community Theater.
Thank you so much. We're here tonight at the VFW, and we're going to be doing the behind the scenes or behind the curtain show. Katie and I will be busy doing many things on Tech Night. And Jodi, you very kindly decided to help us out tonight.
Well, of course.
And you'll be interviewing many of the cast members and the crew.
Yes.
And I understand you even have questions for people.
I do.
Well, thank you so much for doing that. Do you have any questions for me?
I do. I know. So my biggest question for you, Joe, is what was the most challenging thing about bringing this script to life?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the most challenging thing was when we originally did this as a miniseries. It was more of a dramatic kind of a series in which the interns kind of helped out the pathetic people in the studio. But we wanted to switch it to a little bit more comedic. And then there really wasn't an ending that was comedic. So I kind of solicited some people's input. And it was a challenge to try to end it. And I think I just went home and took a lot of the input and just put it all together. And I think the final two scenes, the interviews and the last broadcast, are going to be very funny. I think it's going to be very funny. So I think the challenge was turning it from a dramatic kind of show about relationships between interns and their mentors to a more crazier, kind of funny comedic kind of thing. So that was a challenge. But it was fun because we have a great cast, great crew.
Yes, we do.
Great team.
Very good cast.
Yeah, that was my biggest challenge. And then working with you.
Oh,
that
I
was
know.
my second biggest challenge.
I am a big
because after
challenge.
that, it was very difficult. Because out of the 14, you're in the top 14 in my mind.
Of most
this
difficult
cast.
actors?
No, you're the most difficult actor I've ever worked with, ever.
Oh, yes.
But the best.
They say that.
Well, when you're the best, it's tough. It's easy to be
know.
difficult.
Well, George Lucas said the same thing about me, so I don't blame you.
Wow. I'm only joking, but I love the character you play.
No, well,
I
thank
love
you.
Erica.
Erica is a fun character to play.
Yeah.
A little too true to life, I think.
You think so? I don't think so. Well, you play it well. It's fantastic. You're going to get a lot of laughs when you see this show. So
We'll see. Don't say that just yet. We need to knock on some wood before you say that.
Wood.
You never know. Exactly.
Okay.
Perfect.
But, well, thank you again so much for taking the mics.
Oh, absolutely.
And interviewing our wonderful cast members.
Yes.
And I hear you have tons of questions like that.
I do. I actually even have one more for you.
Okay.
I know. What I want to know is which night do you think will be the best night for the people to come?
Ooh, the nights that we're doing the show.
That's a good answer.
I think that's the ones because every show will be wonderful in its own way.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Excellent.
Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, I think you're gonna get a great show.
Excellent question.
Okay.
Answer.
Thank you. All right. So with that, you go off and
All right.
interview people. If anyone gives you any trouble, remember.
He's the director, and that's why. Hi, I am here with Kelly. I forgot how to pronounce your last name.
Agnes.
Agnes. Like I always get that wrong. With Kelly Agnes, who plays Diane Graff. Tell us a little bit, Kelly, about your character, Diane.
Well, Diane is really kind of subdued a little bit, you might say. Brown is her favorite color. She's a meteorologist.
Is vanilla her favorite ice cream flavor?
That's a little strong sometimes.
So, Kelly, what made you want to be part of this production?
Well, this is my first ever since like I played some sort of vegetation in the first grade play, I think, was the last time I was in any kind of theater. I normally sing in choirs. I've been singing in choirs for about 18 years, and a lot of circumstances made it such that I really couldn't be in a choir this particular year. So I decided I needed something else, and I knew that there was a community theater in Ashland. I live here in Ashland, and I said, I'll give it a shot.
So it was one of those, your school has no gymnastics team. This was a last resort.
Something along those lines, yeah.
Oh, good. Well, excellent. We're very happy to have you here, and we're very happy that you play that very enthusiastic version of Diane Graff. You're going to knock everybody's socks off.
Thank you. I'm very excited about the production.
Good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
I am here now with Nicole Dawber, who plays Ashley. What's Ashley's last name? Does Ashley have a last name?
I have no idea. I think she originally did. I don't know if it got lost.
Yeah, it might have. Anyway, she plays Ashley in Nearly News. So tell me a little bit about Ashley.
Ashley is one of the interns. She's very sweet and mild, and but as the show goes on, she gets a little more sassy, and then she really idolizes the character Marcy and kind of comes under her wing, especially during Girl Talk, which is the start of Act 2, and becomes more stylish, and she's cool.
What was your favorite thing about playing this character? Or what did you like or dislike about playing her?
I think just her little like sassy jokes, because her character is based off her being sweet. So when she says something sassy, it's really funny. And just contrasting that they're interns and kind of being able to develop her character since the script was written by us, and just see where she goes.
Very nice, very nice. And what made you want to be part of this production?
Well, my high school, was unsure if they're doing a spring show, and I really wanted to do a show. So I was looking at community theaters outside, and I discovered this, and the show seemed really interesting, so I wanted to be a part of it.
Nice. Because you don't live in Ashland, correct?
No, I live in Southborough.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump away, so. You're Ashland adjacent, so that counts.
Yeah, very close.
Do you have a favorite character in the show?
I do like Erica. She's very funny.
Oh, you're just saying that.
I think Erica and Daniel have a lot of funny lines. I like those characters.
Nice. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Nicole. We really appreciate you taking your time out of the busy rehearsal to chat with us about your character. So we have Stephanie Hopkins here, who's playing Kaylee Monroe. So tell us a little bit about Kaylee.
Oh, Kaylee is very excited to be an intern at this news station. I imagine that she, as a very young child, watched tapes of Walter Cronkite. I'm not sure why. Maybe her, parents were journalists or something, but she's just very excited about news. And even if it's a very poorly rated local news station, she's just excited to be there. And I feel like she might burst into song at any given moment. That's like how excited she is.
Very nice. And you play that type of excitement very well from what I have seen in all of our rehearsals.
Thank you.
So tell me, what do you think is going to surprise people most about this show?
I think people are probably going to be surprised at just how relatable all of these characters are. Some of them are very broad, but I feel like every single person, no matter what sort of job you have worked with somebody who is completely not interested anymore, completely checked out somewhere else, far too serious about it. There's somebody I think that everyone's worked with, and that's probably going to be the most surprising part, is that everyone's going to watch this and think, wow, I have worked with these people, and even though this is completely farcical and over the top, I recognize these characters, and some of them might be me.
Well, speaking of that, how much of yourself do you see in Kaylee?
Kaylee went through a lot of sort of different versions. At first, she was like the very serious one, and she was going to be have a little bit of, a stick up her butt about all of everything. But she's very quickly sort of morphed into this sort of fan nerd, which is much more me. Just the idea of being incredibly enthusiastic and excited in a very unbridled way.
Very nice. And so along that lines as well, if you could pick any celebrity in the world that you think would be a good Kaylee Monroe, who is it and why?
Oh gosh, I'm terrible at actors' names, but whoever it is that plays Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, yes, Ellie something.
Yes, Ellie something. I'm so sorry. She's so pretty, but she's just a bundle of enthusiasm. And that character in particular is a really unique one that I'm a big fan of.
Nice. Excellent. Well, thank you very much. We look very forward to seeing you in the production. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Yeah. And Kaylee.
Nice to meet you, Kaylee. All right. So I have Tanner Bradley here who plays Daniel Wheelock. So tell us, Tanner, a little bit about Daniel, a little bit about character.
Daniel is he's a little neurotic, I guess, in a way.
A little bit.
He kind of is unsure of his place at the station. He really thinks he has something to offer, but he's not quite sure if he feels confident enough to be the one to offer it. So I think he definitely struggles with that a bit. And he's a bit indecisive, and he kind of views the station as almost like so extravagant and amazing, and yet, like, if one thing goes wrong, it kind of all falls apart, almost like a big Jenga tower.
Ah,
so
good
you
analogy.
get to see a bit of that in Daniel's character. He's pretty funny.
Very nice. So what was your favorite line that Daniel says?
My favorite line that Daniel says, well, I wouldn't necessarily call it a line.
Piece of dialogue, let's say that.
Piece of dialogue. Daniel really falls apart in a certain portion of the production, and it's really funny. It was fun to kind of try to do my best to bring to life. I think that it's a bit of a caricature of how I can be myself sometimes when I'm in a situation where I feel like a lot of pressure or anxiety or whatever it is. And I just thought that particular piece was very fun.
Ah, very nice. And one other question.
Sure.
What is your perfect Sunday like?
Well, my perfect any day involves pizza, so I'll start there. I'll start backwards, I guess. At the end of my day, I will have a nice hot pizza from, I don't know. I'm kind of a pizza
Nick's
snob.
Pizza, because they're a sponsor of ACT.
Nick's Pizza. Because they're amazing and John does great work. How about that? I do like Nick's Pizza. And they're also down the street from my house. So,
That works out.
Nick's Pizza. Nick's Pizza's a great way to end the day.
Exactly.
But typically I'll wake up and I will check my email because why not? It's what I do in the mornings. Every morning, it's fun. I like to start my day off the hectic way. But then on a typical Sunday, I'll end up going to church. Probably spend some time with some friends. Sometimes we grab lunch together, or we stay after. We'll chat it up. And I'll go home and I will either get some work done, I'll rest for the day, depending on what kind of week I've had. And yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Tanner. I appreciate you taking your time to talk with us.
Absolutely.
And good luck. Now we have Ernie Penger here, who is taking on the role of Stanley Fields. So, Ernie,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about Stanley.
Stanley is a narcoleptic weatherman.
Oh,
Yes.
and what is a narcoleptic?
Well, this is a family show, right? No, narcoleptic just means it's somebody who has a disorder, a sleeping disorder, and they just fall asleep in mid-sentence. Kind of like
Arnie,
that.
are you okay?
And which is, it's totally wacky. I mean, but it's great. It lends the play a sense of being not serious because
Yes.
it's just so silly, and I love that. I love being silly.
Very nice. So what was your biggest challenge with taking on the role of Stanley Fields?
Oh, that's an easy answer. See, I ran the Boston Marathon yesterday, Monday, and which is 3 days before opening night. And so originally, when Joe was doing the casting, he I wasn't going to do the play because the timing just
Yes.
wasn't good. And so Joe says, Joe the director, like Joe White, right?
Joe White.
Yeah, that
I'm-
guy.
You know, the name sounds familiar
Yeah.
to me, but I'm not quite sure.
He's just some guy. He's involved.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so anyway,
go
he
with
asked
that.
me if I was going to do the show, and I said no. I'm really stretched thin.
What do you think about that?
I'm running this race. I don't think he had any idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was kind of bummed. He's like, but I really wanted you in the play, and I was like, hold on,
Who let the dogs out?
that's my phone.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Take the call.
Hello. Listen, this is a bad time. I really can't talk. Yes? No? No. Yes. Okay, bye. Sorry.
No problem.
Anyway, so what was? Oh, we were talking about Joe. So yeah, so I said, Joe, I can't do the play. And so he can't. So he said okay, and then he didn't take no. He comes back with an email and says, Ernie, I really need you to do it. I really need you to be the Stanley Weatherman. He said, I want you to think about it. And so I thought about it, and then the next thing I know, my arm was being twisted around my back.
He has a way
it
of
really hurt. It really hurt. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And so
Yep.
now I'm in the play.
Now, did you have to do a lot of outside research in order to be able to play a man who falls asleep all the time?
Actually, no.
No? Is that something that you're
It's-
just generally
I'm
sort
always
of naturally
tired.
good at?
Yeah, and it's no. That's a funny question. No, I just figured no. I'll just give it a shot. I'm good with stage direction, so I figured if I'm really screwing it up, if I'm not doing it right, and Joe's not shy, he'd be like, Arnie, you're not doing it right. You're screwing it up. Here's what I want you to do.
I want you to sleep like this.
Yeah, and Joe's a really funny guy. So, if he gets up there and he shows you how to do it, it's like, oh, okay, good. I'm a sponge. I'll do whatever he says.
Sure. Very good. I think Joe likes to hear that, too.
Yeah, I'm a suck up too.
Well, thank you very much, Arnie. I really appreciate you taking your time to talk to us about the play. Good luck and have a great time.
Thank you. You too.
I have with me Linda Slocum, who is playing Marilyn Danko in the production Nearly News. So, Linda, tell us a little bit about Marilyn.
Well, she is interviewing for a field reporter position at the station, and she is a little bit emotional. So it's a really fun character to play because I get to be up and down and all over the place. So
Very
it's
nice.
a lot of fun.
If you could play any other character in the show, which one would you like? Which one would it be?
Oh, that's a tough question. I don't know. I think maybe Evelyn. I like Evelyn.
Evelyn's character, very nice. What is it about Evelyn that you like?
I like her attitude and the way that she is somewhat serious, but at the same time that she's definitely fun loving and she's an interesting character.
What was your favorite part of playing Marilyn?
Probably the part where I'm doing the news report about the garbage and having to go from being calm to suddenly sobbing, and that was a lot of fun.
Now, do you have problems? Have you ever had problems with those kinds of character transitions? Or is that something that comes fairly easy to you?
With practice, it comes easy. The first few times, it's like, okay, wait, how do I do this? But then it gets easier as you try.
Oh, good. Well, thank you very much, Linda. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us a little bit about this, about your character, and we look forward to seeing you on the stage.
Thanks.
I'm here with Maddie Shotin, who plays Susan Pike. So, Maddie, tell us a little bit about Susan.
Well, Susan, she's trying her best to support the station owner and do what he needs to have done to make it be successful. But she's got an ulterior motive. She's a fabulous cook, and she thinks to improve the ratings on the show that they could sneak in a little cooking segment and perhaps get more viewers. And so she's all about wanting to get him to agree to having a cooking segment.
Oh, well, culinary shows are very, very popular nowadays.
I know.
There's
We're all foodies. So.
Exactly. There's all kinds of culinary competition shows. I know some of my favorite shows are cooking competitions. So, was there anything about Susan's character that you felt was dissimilar to you or was really similar to you?
I don't know. That's a tough question. Am I similar to that character?
How much of yourself do you see or not see in Susan's character?
I don't feel that this is me. The character has a different style than my style. I don't, I'm much more extroverted in my daily life. I'm much more of a go-getter, and I'm not really one to just say, yes, sir, no, sir, okay, sir. I kind of do my own thing, and it flows better.
So on another note, I'm curious. So of all the cast members, which one do you feel is the funniest character, or the funniest actor in real life? We're talking about the actors, not the characters.
So Tanner is fantastic as Daniel. Just unbelievable. He's my favorite. So for sure, that's number one comes to mind. But also, Erica is just the cutest little airhead. Cutie pie that is just, just so ready to take on the world. So I like Erica too. That's played by you.
It is. Yes, it is. We'll get to that later. Anyway, well, thank you very much, Maddie. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, Erica.
Thank you. I'm with David Callahan, who plays Tim Holquist. So, David, tell us a little bit about Tim.
Oh, Tim? Tim is a station owner. He's a mean guy. And David's had to apologize to some of his co-stars for Tim meanness. He's quite a tough apple. But, he's a stern guy, wants to run his station. It's not going so well. It's down in the dumps, so he wants ratings.
Very important. Ratings are all very important. So why did you want to be part of this production?
I love working with all these people here. ACT is a very nice group. You got a very nice reputation in this area. So I'm proud to be part of it with you all.
Nice. Now, have you been to any ACT performances?
I have not. I've seen some on the web, but I have never been here in person.
Ah, very nice. Okay, then. So what do you think when people leave the show, when the audience is leaving the show and they're in their car on their way home, what do you think they're going to think about with this performance?
Oh, I think they're going to think about the music. They're going to be loving. They're going to be singing the songs in their head. They'll probably think about wacka. But that's just a guess of mine, local television and, things like that, cable access news.
Sure. Hey, maybe you'll get more ratings.
We love high ratings.
So how do you feel that Tim's character is different from, his personality is different from yours?
From mine?
Or the same, yes. Or do you have any similarities that you've noticed?
Well, as an actor, you play them all, so whatever. He's mean, and he's got parts where he's, he has to shift. I don't want to make any spoilers here, but, he has parts where he changes his attitude, and me, I'm just kind of freewheeling,
Nice. Very nice. All right, then. Well, thank you very much, David. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you very much for having me.
I am with Patty ONeil, who plays Marcy Balson.
Hi.
Hi, how are you today?
Awesome. How are
good.
you?
I'm great.
Awesome.
So tell us a little bit about Marcy.
Oh, Marcy is such a little vixen. I like to think of her as Sue Ann Nivens in the newsroom. She likes to play with the men. She likes to flirt. She still has a little bit of a wounded heart with her breakup or with Evelyn. So that's a really nice part of Marcy to watch that be explored. But I really like her. She's a lot not like me.
Right. Which is great.
Right.
Why did you want to be part of this production?
Oh, I couldn't wait to be part of this production. Katie Reynolds and Joe White are like celebrities here in Ashland. So I was ridiculously like a stalker on Facebook, followed everything, wanted to be on Gate 19, yes, and then finally had the courage to audition this time.
See, and that blows my mind. Somebody who's actually been on film with major celebrities was nervous about coming to our little cute little community theater.
That's so nice to hear. No, you guys are fabulous. You just welcomed me, and it's just been such a joy.
What do you think is going to surprise people the most about this show?
how funny it is. Joe and Katie can really write a script, and it's fantastic. It's funny. It's here. It should be on Broadway. You know what I mean?
So we should work on that.
Right. It's fantastic that Ashland has an opportunity to actually see a Broadway caliber performance.
Yes. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
your time.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm here with Katie Shander-Reynolds, who plays the Evelyn Wagner, as well as co-writing the script.
Evelyn Wagner. I like that. Yes.
You are the Evelyn Wagner. There is no other Evelyn Wagner.
No, not so far. Not so far. I'm it.
So tell me, what was, as a thinking of this as a writer and having done the interns, which was what this script was based off of, what do you think is the most, what was the most challenging thing about bringing this script to life in this version?
I think that one of the hardest parts for me was we had to make it a lot more sort of physically comedic because on stage we couldn't really do the character development that we were able to do in the miniseries. And so we had to really kind of punch it up and also shorten it a lot. And so that as a writer was the most challenging, was to get things across faster and funnier.
Ah, okay. That's, that makes sense. What is your favorite line of dialogue?
My own line?
Yours or anyone else's?
I hate that question because there's a lot of good lines in this show. All right, so
or one that you wrote.
Honestly, there's one scene that I wrote by myself, and the rest of it I can never remember who wrote which parts, except for the really, really funny parts. That's almost always going to be Joe.
Oh.
But let's see, a really funny line that I like a lot is when Marcy says, I have to pick just one? Okay. So Marcy's got some great lines. Tim has some really funny lines. I don't know. I can't just pick one.
So
Erica has the best lines in terms of just like laugh out loud, guffaw kind of lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, like could someone please explain to me what that means? Do you mean someone's going to have to sit in my lap?
That is
or
one
I'm
of
going to
my
have to sit on
favorites.
someone else?
That is one of my favorites as well.
She's got some of the most amusing lines that I'm kind of envious. I don't have any really funny lines in this show. And so whenever I'm on stage with you and you say some of those things that just make me want to cry because I'm laughing so hard inside, I think, I would like to have some of those lines.
Well, speaking of that, last question. Would you are the Evelyn Wagner? If there was another, what other role in this would you have liked to have played?
Oh, it would be so much fun to be Erica. It really would. What other role would I have liked to have played? I don't think I could pull off Marcy. And oh gosh, there's Joe yelling for us.
I know. He likes to yell.
Yeah, I think Erica. I think I would have liked to be Erica.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
One day I was on the cue cards and I inadvertently held up a card that led to her being let go.
You mean the time that she called the VP on
That time.
Oh, but she can't think that you did that on purpose.
Well, she certainly hasn't made any bones about saying so all these years.
But that's crazy. How did it really happen?
I was so angry at you after I got fired. I didn't even think about him.
Well, we never thought about him. And you know, I got fired too. I was just so insecure.
Oh, honey, we both were. That's why he got away with it. Now what are we gonna do to him?
I don't know yet, but I do know that between us, we'll come up with something that will fix Tim Hopkins for good.
All right, so you guys just stand there. We're going to try to see what the lighting will look like when you are having your moment of revelation about Tim. Daniel and Jodi, you guys can go. You guys are good. You know your stuff. You can go in the back. Somebody can go get Twizzlers for crying out loud.
Figure that.
I'm not really joking, but.